Hi guys, my name's Maddison Kerrwood, the Glaswegian Diva, and welcome to my channel.
Just say the words I like, we'll just hit the Hollywood. I nail you anytime, I'm hammered anywhere. I'm seeing flesh alive.
Okay guys, so first things first, you're going to want to go ahead and make sure you've got no hair on your face. I'm a man, so I do have hair on my face. Obviously, if you are a real life woman, you might be able to skip this step. But if not, go ahead, get your razor out, get your shaving foam. I like to go two directions. First off, I'll shave going down the way. Secondly, I will shave going up the way. Shave twice, make sure it is completely tight to the skin. After you've done that, or after I've done that, I like to then apply a sheet mask for 20 minutes to help with any stubble rash or like red sort of areas. After face mask, I will go on to use a cleanser, a toner, a moisturizer. Let that all soak up into your skin. I can show my skincare routine on another video maybe if you really want to see that. It's pretty standard, I guess. The only thing that I do differently is when I apply products to my skin, I like to pat them in, especially in the areas that get oily, just to make sure that they go right into my pores and stop kind of oil build-up. But yeah, once they are all on your face and your face is feeling nice and smooth like a baby's arse, that is when we can go on to priming the skin. Now I actually use two different primers. I can try and do this thing. Does that work? Maybe. Excuse the nails, I actually still have glue on it from the last time I was in drag, but hey ho. Okay, so I like to use First Base by NYX Cosmetics. I actually use a lot of NYX Cosmetics. I quite like them. They're good. They're not super expensive, and I feel like the pigment's great. The products in general are good. So yeah, I like to spray that on my face, and again, like my skincare routine, I like to pat that in, just making sure that I focus on the sort of T-zone area and where I get a lot of oil build-up. Yeah, and then once I've done that, I'll go on to the NYX. Is that going to work? Oh, how do I do this? Oh, we're going to go right up. Okay, so I don't know if you can see that, but that's the Studio Photogenic HD primer base. So I'll use this second to the First Base one. I know this might seem unnecessary to people, but I actually suffer from quite bad skin, so I like to take as many steps as possible just to make sure when I apply my makeup it's going to look as flawless as I can. But yeah, so I put this on, and again I will rub this in because it's a lot thicker, but round this area, around my eyes, round my nose, and down here, basically anywhere where you're going to put your light makeup, feel like you want it to be as smooth as possible, because when things are light they grab light and make like all your spots and stuff look real bad. So I like to make sure I cake it on in these areas. Around here, again, I'll just tap it in until it dries. I kind of feel like when I'm putting contour around the outside of my face, I don't really need to worry about it being as smooth and primed, because you don't really see it with dark tones. I don't feel anyway. But yeah, so you're going to want to go ahead and put those primers on. I have actually already primed my face as well. It's an automatic reaction after I've done my skincare routine, especially if I'm getting into drag. And I've shaved my face twice, because I know if I've shaved it twice, the primer's coming out. Okay guys, so now that we are primed, prepped and ready to go, let's start our makeup. So a drag queen's first step when they're doing their face is usually to glue down things that they don't want to be there, i.e. the eyebrows. I don't do this step anymore. I did used to. I don't anymore. I did used to. Is that like a Scottish saying maybe? I think that might be a Scottish saying. I have in the past, but I don't really like to do it. It's a lot of hassle. Some people will glue like half them down, but I don't know, then I feel like that goes all crunchy. I just don't like it. I also have quite high arches on my eyebrows anyway, so I tend to just get away with like drawing over the ones that I've got. Okay, so the products I use for just getting the base down in my eye would be TV Paint Stick by Krylon. Excuse the nails, they do still have glue on them. Hide that wee one, it's looking a bit crusty. Yeah, so TV Paint Stick by Krylon, that is what I use for my eyeshadow base. I also have a little mini beauty blender here. This I use this corner for, because it's just good to make sure that you're blending that out, because you don't want too much product or it'll be cakey, and when you know it'll start to crease when you're opening and closing your eyes. So I like to make sure it's completely blended out. And to apply the product, I just take it from this, put it on my eye, and blend it out. Okay. Might look busted, but it will come together. Trust the process, which I'm sure you've heard every single queen say before, but drag queen makeup looks so busted until you're finished, really. Yeah. So you just want to dab that on here. See, and because we've not drew our eyebrows on, it's much easier because we can just get right in and make sure that you've got that white right up to that brow bone. Yeah, and then just do the same here. Okay, so they seem pretty primed. A nice base for the colour to go on top of. We won't be getting rid of our Krylon. The colour of this, by the way, is 070. Forgot to tell you earlier. Okay, so once you've gone ahead and blended that out, you want to go ahead and pick the colour that you want to do. For me, this is the wig that we're going to be using. This is a wig that I styled last night actually. I posted it on my Instagram, so anyone who's here from Instagram will seen it. But yeah, I styled this last night. I actually watched a video from Mr. Vilberg. It's a couple, Mr. and Mrs. Vilberg. They are a drag duo. They bring out a song called Pony. They're actually really good. If you don't know them, go and visit their YouTube page, go and look at listen to their music, look at all their content. But I tried to copy that tutorial. I'm not the best at wig styling, so it doesn't look exactly like it. But this is the look we're going to be going for today. So I think for the eyes, green. I don't know if I have anything as lime green as that, but yeah, let's have a look at what we've got first. Okay guys, so I do my eye makeup slightly differently. I like to do it all with cream colours and then go over it with sort of darker eyeshadow tones to like enhance it. I just feel like I get a better blend on my brow line and it just, the overall finish looks better. Now some of the cream colours that I have found to use again are NYX. I use a lot of NYX products, like a lot, and they're really good I think when you're doing drag and you're using a lot of makeup in your face. You don't really want to be shelling out for, you know, cream colours that are like one pot's 15 quid. This was like £23 I think. This little kit here, which is the SFX cream colour. This one I've used a lot, but this is like the ones with the black and the grey, like the primary colours I guess. Yeah, so this is the brights, this is called, and this is primary, this one. As you can see, this one's been completely attacked by me, black and the white, see? But today we will ignore this one and we are going to go ahead and use this one because it has this green in here, which if you look, is nothing like my wig. I think if I use green in here and sort of blend it out to a yellow maybe, I might be able to make it work. Again, tools for this, I just take myself a little brush, like a sort of little tapered brush here. I don't know where I got this brush. I actually have a set of these. I think I got them free with some makeup, but they're really good. I do have something similar and can you see that? You cannot see that. Hold on a second. Yeah, so this is a, you see it? An M124. But I'm going to just use this one because it's the same brush and I like this one. What we're going to do is dip into that green shade, and I'm going to go in and draw right down close to where my actual lid is. So I'll show you in a minute. Okay, so you'll see there, I've drew it like right in close where my actual lid is, because we're going to blend it out. If we put it too high up, then we'll have like green right up here in our brow. We don't want that. Okay, again, same beauty blender that we had before, and you're just going to want to blend them out. Now we're just tapping. I'm not, yeah, I'm just tapping it. I'm not like swiping it across or anything. You just want to tap it gently. Okay, so see, so you've got that blend out now. It's completely blended. And it's sort of like seamlessly going from the green, but we are going to add a little bit more, and what I do is I just keep adding until I'm happy with the outcome. Okay, so like you can see here, I've just kept applying until it's starting to build up, you know, like a nice little blend. We're going from green into our white. This isn't popping right now, which it will be. And down here you can deepen up with like your darker shadow. Yeah, so go ahead and repeat it on the other eye, and then we'll go on to the next step. So now that you have copied this eye onto this eye, you should be left with something that looks a little bit like this. Yeah, I quite like it. At this area, one thing that I do is I will always blend the colour, my main colour, into my eyebrow. Okay, so let's grab an eyeshadow. We are going to be using the Jeffree Star Jawbreaker palette. I don't really know. Yeah, you can see that. Yep. The colour we're going to be using is Sour. Sour is here. I think that's going to match the green that's on there, and it's going to mattify it a little bit. And to apply it, we're going to use this Morphe brush, which is a Morphe brush, sorry, which is like a blending brush. It's sort of tapered. Get a little bit on the brush, tap it off, and go ahead and just pop that in there. So you want to focus that again on the crease area. You want to bring this right up to here into the eyebrow. You can just use the same brush to just diffuse it out a little bit, just down where the crease would be. Just keep going with this until you feel happy with the shape that you've got. As you can see, we've got the depth here now, and you'll see what I mean when I cut the crease. It's going to make it a lot more striking if it's like the white crease against the, you know, the like sharp green. Okay, so go ahead and repeat that on the other side now. Okay, so once you've gone ahead and copied the same here as you had here, we're going to want to go on to actually cutting the crease. And you're going to want to get a brush similar to this. It's quite tapered, quite thin, and also, you know, it's quite sturdy, just so that you can actually get a lot of product on there and use it to cut it out. But we are going to, again, use our white, 070 by Krylon. Use it all the time. Literally got this not long ago and it's nearly done because I use so much of it. Okay, yeah, so you're just wanting to get some white on your brush. Don't be afraid to like load it on there. And then we cut our crease. Take your brush with your white on it. You're wanting to go in and start like round about here. Right, like just over slightly from where your actual waterline ends. Higher than where your crease is. And I'm sorry I can't show you this, but I really need to look into the mirror to do it because it doesn't work otherwise. Concentration. Major concentration is needed.
You wanna know that you got in my mind.
Okay, see? We're starting to get the shape there. And you can just keep going in, get a bit more white, and just keep going until you're happy with you know how it looks. We've got our cut crease there, right? It's became our new lid. So yeah, at this stage you don't really need to worry about this section here. This is going to be blended in with the eyeshadow that you put over your cut crease, as well as the eyeshadow that's already on your eye. But in the meantime, you don't want these harsh lines. So what I do is I take the same little beauty blender I was using previously, and just dab down that line. So now that you've done this on this eye, you're wanting to go ahead and do the same on the other side. I'm going to go ahead and do that off camera because this is the hardest eye, the harder eye for me. Alright, so now that that's repeated on the other side, we're wanting to go ahead and darken the outer corner now so that we can intensify our eyes even more. We're going to do this using, again, these tapered brushes, which I use all the time. I don't know what brand this is. It doesn't have a number, so a tapered eyeshadow brush. And you want to dip it in brown. I'm using Tasty from the same Jawbreaker palette. Just tap it in, tap off the excess, and you want to just go in at a corner, just at the outside of your eye. Just like that. So sort of go at a diagonal. There. So you just want to darken that out. We are, after we've applied the shadow, going to take a blending brush, which is like a big fluffy one. This again is a Morphe M456. Just a big fluffy one will do, and just blend it out. Really we're blending the green in with the brown.
We'll just hit the Hollywood. I'd nail you anytime. I'm hammered anywhere.
It took me forever to find out like a pattern that worked for me, or like a pattern, like an outline that works for my eye shape and the way that I like it to look. It takes you a while to get there, but I feel like once you do get there, your makeup's a lot easier, it's a lot faster for it to apply. But yeah, see? Now you want to go ahead and again repeat the same on the other side. So now that you've copied that on this side, like you had it on this side, you're good to go with your eyes for now, so we can go ahead and move on to our foundation, colour correction, basically our base here. Yeah, we've still got the under eye to do, we still have a little bit of eyeliner to do, and we still have to deepen up in here, but I like to leave that until after I've done my foundation, actually last in my makeup, just to make sure that it's like really popping on my face. Yeah, so let's move on to colour correcting. I do this before I do my foundation, just so that it helps hide any dark areas where my beard may be. Also, I use it to cover any spots, which I don't know if you can see. Who am I kidding? Of course you can see that. That is like Mount Kilimanjaro on my forehead. The colour corrector that I use is this one by Stila. This was actually, this was the first proper colour correcting palette I bought. Before, I did just use maybe like an orange lipstick or something like that to do it. Then I upped the ante by buying this. It is the best thing I ever bought. It gives you such a flawless complexion at the end, it's great. But yeah, so this comes here, it's got like the cream sort of shades at the top here, and then down here we've got the two shades that's like powders that you use to set the creams once you're done. So I was going with the orange first, and I always do this with one of these little sort of like triangle sponges. You're just going to use this on your beard area. I like to use it round my moustache area as well, and just bring it right round anywhere that you've got like a darker shadow on your face. I've seen queens do this and they coat their full face in orange. You really don't have to. A little goes a long way, especially when it's a colour correcting, because this is underneath your makeup, so you're really just doing this to cancel out any shadow. But yeah, I just take it the smallest amount and just bring it anywhere where I feel like I suffer from darker shadows. Even though you're setting it, it can still sometimes come through with your foundation, and nobody wants to walk around looking like an Oompa Loompa. Left that stage in the 90s. Well, actually 2000s, I would say. There's still some people going about pretty orange in Glasgow. Actually, there probably is still some people going about very, very orange in Glasgow. It's definitely a look here. I feel like in the north in general, makeup's a different kettle of fish. Like, I can always remember when I was at school and girls used to use Elizabeth Arden makeup and they would cake their face in it, but just to right here. Just right round here. There'd be no blending, it would just be like a solid layer of foundation. Usually it was stealing Elizabeth Arden foundation out of Watt Brothers in Glasgow. If anybody knows Watt Brothers in Glasgow, they sold lots of very cheap makeup. Very cheap cakey makeup. Actually, to be fair, Elizabeth Arden makeup would be grand for doing drag because it's really, really thick, or Leishner makeup. They're pretty similar to the Krylon stuff that I use. So maybe back in like the 2000s, if people knew how to apply their makeup like they do now, people would have been looking a lot better. But as it stands, the history of Glaswegian makeup is women walking about with a different colour of face to their neck. Yeah, questionable. Okay, so using the exact same sponge, but going for the other side, of course, that doesn't have the orange all caked on it. You want to go ahead and get some green, so the green palette here. If you've got any spots, I just use a teeny little corner of the sponge, like such a small amount, and then you want to just go ahead and use it to cover any spot areas that you see, because you just don't want them showing through your makeup. Especially when you're doing drag makeup, because instantly as soon as I get in drag, I phone anybody, FaceTime anyone in my contacts just to show them my look. Which is why I've started doing YouTube now, right? Because my family and friends are getting fed up here. At the start they're like, oh my god. And then as time goes on they're like, yeah, we get it, okay. You do drag, you do makeup, constantly. Jealousy. Jealous. And again, using the exact same sponge, but just grab yourself the other side that's now still clean, and we're going to dip into the pink. Now the pink neutralises any of our sort of tiredness. Yes, it highlights the eye area to mask fatigue, is what it says. And since lockdown, I struggled to sleep because all days just sort of run into each other. So a little bit of help with the bags is never a bad thing. Setting it. Now, for this, we're going to rely on a clean, trusty little triangle sponge. Clean. Don't use the same one. I've done it before and it goes like muddy because it's been in the cream pot and then it's been in the powder. It's really not nice. So take a clean sponge, just go ahead, dip it in and set all that orange. You want to make sure it's proper set because you don't want it transferring like we talked about. See? And now you can't see them. Gone. Now before you do anything else though, you do have to dust it off, because if you put foundation over the top of it, it'll go really cakey and it actually starts to come off if there's too much powder. So just get yourself a big fluffy brush and just run it all over your face. This will also help spread the powder about, so if you've missed an area, any of that excess powder will go over it and cover, stop any transfer. Okay, so now that you've done your colour correcting and set it all with powder, you're good to go ahead and put your base foundation colour on. I use the TV paint stick in 3W. That's the colour of it there. I don't know if you can see that. Yeah, it's a little bit lighter than I guess my normal colour, but I feel like once I put my contour on, and then obviously highlighting, you're creating different depths in the face, so I don't think it really matters so much. For application of your foundation, you're just going to take it straight from this stick and slap it right all over your face. Then you'll just blend it out with a beauty blender. So you just want to take the stick and just now, I don't do it all over my face, just because I like to blend up the way first to make sure that there's not going to be loads of product on it. And also just a tip, make sure you wet your beauty blender first. Don't leave it soaking, because if it's soaking wet, it'll just take the makeup and move it around your face. But what I do is I'll run it under a hot tap for maybe like a couple of seconds until it expands, and then I take it in kitchen roll and I will roll it round in the kitchen roll to take off any excess water. Basically leaves you with a sponge that's slightly damp but helps with blending your makeup out. I like to do my beard area first, because if you do get any transfer on your sponge, you can either change sponge or use the other side yet. Okay. Now, you'll see that I've left this area and this area here. The reason is because we are going to highlight it. We will also highlight here and here. So highlighter, for me, I actually use two. So I use the original 070, like we were talking about before. Don't know if you can see that. No, you can't. Can you see it now? Yeah, so 070, I use, that's the white one. But before I use that, I like to go in with the 1W. It's a little closer to my foundation shade, and I think it makes the transition of colour a lot smoother if you put this on and then go ahead with your highlighter. But I use this up here, like this. Use the other side of the sponge to the sponge we use to blend out the other foundation. One, because it's a lighter colour, and two, because I don't want any of the orange transfer maybe from my beard cover. So flip your sponge round and use the clean side to do this. And again, we're following the same as before. You just want to really blend that out. You can see there it is highlighting, that it kind of gives the idea that when the light, like the light's constantly reflecting off your face, so it looks like the light's always center, fading out to like the darker colours at the back. When there's a lot of colour in your face, you want to make sure that the colours are seamlessly transitioned into each other. You do not want to have lines. If you've seen some of the makeup looks that I used to do, you would not be watching this tutorial for advice anyway. I used to look so busted. But like anything in life, trial and error, just keep doing it until you get to a place where you're happy with it. Okay, same again with this 1W. We're going to go ahead and take it just in the outline here, like that. Not right round the forehead, but just there. And you're going to blend that out as well. We just 16 and we still dumb. You wanna rip my always get dead itchy when I'm putting makeup on, and then I realise that I can't scratch anything because it's not going to end well, big lines. So we've got a little bit of highlighter and our foundation colour. They're very similar colours, but it does make it look a bit better. So down here we're going to put the same 1W, blend that out, and see, you can see instantly it looks like the light is hitting my chin. We'll do a wee bit under there. Okay, so now that we have done our base foundation and our sort of highlight, semi-highlight, to take any residue of foundation off my lips. Now that you have put your base foundation on and you've cleaned your lips out a little, you want to go for your spotlight highlighter, I like to call it. So this is the one that's going to be in these areas only, and it's going to really shine. For it, again, we are using 070 by Krylon. We're just going to use it from the stick because it's the easiest way. So you want to just put it in here, right in there, right in there, another wee bit here, another wee bit there, and then right in here. You look crazy. We're going to get the same beauty blender, we're going to use the other side of it now, so the pointy side, and we're just going to blend this in with the rest of the foundation that's already there. Okay, so now that you've done your highlight and your foundation colour, you want to go ahead and do your contouring. We're not using Krylon for contour, we're going to use our Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette, the cream contour palette and the powder one, but we will do the creams first, and similar to the way we've done our eye, we're going to go ahead and do all our creams, set it, and then we'll go in and reinforce it all with powders. Like I said, we use the Anastasia Beverly Hills contour palette, which is an absolute mess. I use it all the time, so that's why it's an absolute mess. I will start with this shade here, which is the lightest brown shade, and I will do my contour all over my face, and then I'll skip this one and I'll go straight to the darkest, and I'll use it to darken the most inner corner points of my contour, so that when I look straight forward, you're going to see like depth in here, and it's going to raise the cheekbones up. The brush we're going to use is going to be this. Again, one of these little tapered things. This is the Morphe M224. So you just want to dip into your product in this messy ass palette. Make sure you've got a decent amount on your brush. And I'll always start with my forehead first, because you're wanting to create like the beige rainbow up here, and I always feel like this takes a lot more effort to blend out, so I always start with it. You want to just take your product on your brush and I do a couple of lines just round where I want it to be. Now it looks a lot, but when you actually blend it out, it like disappears to nothing. We're going to blend that out with a beauty blender. I'm going to use the exact same one as I used before. I'm just going to make sure I use this side of it so that it's not the side with the orange. Like I said before, you don't want that colour for your forehead orange, no one wants that. So we're just going to take it, and just like we've blended everything else, we're just going to tap, 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 tap away. There we go. Now we've got like the little beige sort of formed here. We are going to go in and reinforce it again even more with darker up here, but for now that's sort of the shade that we want the main part of our forehead to be anyway. So we can go ahead and go to the next part of our face that we're going to contour, if we can open the palette. Again, just dipping in, and we're going to want to contour the cheeks now. The way I contour my cheeks is I like to take a very small line, and where my sideburns used to be before I shaved them off, I like to just take it down here like this. And yeah, I mean, you can kind of see, like if you smile, you can see where your cheekbone is. So this you want to follow really the actual contours of your natural face, because it's going to look better. I do one side at a time to make sure that they're as even as possible. So I will take it, and from where we've put it, just start blending out, just like we done the forehead. And now we are going to cut the cheek, so you want to really blend this as much as possible where we put it, and that's giving you that darkness there. Now you can go in and just keep pop them on here until you're happy with how it's looking. That tends to be what I do, and we're going to go ahead and do the same with the other side. Okay, so now you've got that down, you can see we've sort of got a contour built up here, nice and soft, it's not too heavy. Just down here, we're going to do the exact same. So we just want to bring it down here and cut that jaw off. The only difference with the contour down here is you want to leave this pretty much like there. You don't want to blend it out too much. You want to blend the top line just so that it blends into the skin, and the bottom you want to blend, but this line in the middle you want to not really touch it because you're wanting to cut the jaw off, and to do that you need shadow. But you'll see there, see it's kind of created like a more of a, like from this side to this side, it's more of like a round shape. I just like to build it until I'm happy with it. I do the same here. Since lockdown I've got a bit of double chin going on, so we're going to get rid of that as well, so that when we take photos and stuff, I mean in real life it's still double chin material, but to get rid of it we can just bring our neck contour down and darken this up. If you darken it up, it will give shadow and remove it, at least for photos. I mean, if someone's coming into your house, they're seeing your double chin whether you've got makeup on it or not. Although no one should be coming into your house. Scotland, tier 4 lockdown. No one should be doing nothing. I actually can't remember the last time I was out. Like, actually out. People in like Australia are out partying at Chromatica and I'm sitting talking to myself in front of a camera. It's happening. Okay. So now that you've sort of cancelled your double chin, which I think you can see there, it's sort of disappeared. Hopefully you can. And all the sort of base contours are down, or the initial shades that we want to have. We're going to darken it up. So we're going to take the same brush and we're going to get into the darkest shade that we've got. Now this is where you need to be careful because you don't want to have big like caterpillars down the side of your cheek or it look like you've got big sideburns. So you just want to take this little area here that's right in your hairline. So like try and actually take it into your hairline. Wee bit like that, yeah? And blend that out. Okay, so now we're going to do the same with the forehead, but we're going to keep it right up close to the hairline. We're going to do the same just down here, just to give that a little bit more of a shadow. And again, this is just like anything that you do with makeup, blending and creating shadow. There's always different shades in there, so it's always good to have like a transition shade that you'll then use to sort of blend in your darker shade. I'm not a teacher, so if I'm explaining it in a way you don't understand, I apologise, but it's the only way I know how to explain it, people. Again, we're going to want to darken the shadow here to get rid of that double chin. Okay, so now that you're finished with your contour, you can see that we've kind of went from like dark in the outside to light in the middle. We are going to lighten the middle up even more before we do our cream nose contour. Reason being is just kind of went a little bit darker now because we've put our darker shades in, so we want to brighten up a bit more. And to do that, we are going to go back in with our 070 because we use it for everything. Just blending these out again. Okay, so now that you've blended in your entire contour and foundation, you should be left with something that looks like this. Yeah, I think it's looking pretty good right now. It's only going to get better. Now for nose contour, I actually don't use Anastasia Beverly Hills. I use instead from Fenty Beauty those little matchsticks. So this is matchstick in the colour Mocha. So I use this for my nose contour. It's a little bit lighter than the other shade. You can build it up still, but I think it just looks a lot better. For this, I'm going to need to use my trusty hand mirror just to make sure that I can actually get a straight line. So you just want to take a little bit of product on the end of this like real flat brush. So we're not using a tapered brush this time, we're using flat. I forgot what I was going to say. Anyway, get your product on your brush as much as you want. Don't be too shy with it, just fuck it on there. And you want to just carve out your nose. Now I like doing mine into a point, but leaving the point up like here. Reason being is it shortens your nose and gives you a more feminine face. completely changes your face, your nose, I think. So, now that you've got your contour down, you're good to go ahead and set it. Now, when I set it, I like to set it with a translucent powder all over, but just lightly. And then I'll go in and reinforce my highlights with some white powder. First, we're going to do our all over translucent powder set. You can do this with any translucent powder. I prefer loose powder because it means you can push it right into your skin. You can also use a pressed powder if you've got it. It's not really that big a deal. You just want a light powder, and I'm just going to do it on one of these big fluffy makeup brushes. Dip a little into your powder. You can use anything, like I said, and you're just wanting to pat that onto your skin. Okay, so now that you've got your foundation and contour set with translucent powder, you're going to want to go ahead and set your under eyes and any of the highlighted areas with like a white powder. Again, it's by Kylon. I can't show you the top of it, but yeah, just use some white powder, like some white pigmented powder. Do this on your same beauty blender. I'm actually going to do it using one of these little sponges again because I use these all the time. You're just wanting to take that and just so we're just done our under eyes. We're going to go ahead and do up on our forehead here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to just cut this cheek. Now this is what I was talking about earlier. When you cut it, so you've got to take your powder, run it right down like that. See? You can straighten it up if you want, but and run it right down. You want them to be as even as possible. But yeah, I'm going to go and let this bake, and I'll be back with you in about 10 minutes. Okay guys, so after you've left your powder to bake for up to 10 minutes, take another fluffy brush and we're going to wipe this off, and you'll see that it will have lightened up all the areas. So once I dust the powder off, I like to then go in and reinforce the highlights and contours even more with powder, and I do that using the Anastasia Beverly Hills Contour Powder Palette. This is in light to medium, and it's an absolute mess because I use it every single time I do drag. What I like to do is I like to again go in with the little triangle sponges, and I go into one of the lighter shades here. I like to go a little bit of this shade and a little bit of that, a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and then I go back in to where I've done the powders previously. This one gives more of like a finish to your makeup, so again we're just dipping in both of those. See what I mean? It just gives like a finish, you know? Okay, for the contouring with powder, we're going to go ahead and do it with a brush. Now the brush that I use is this one from, again, Fenty Beauty. It's like the cheek hugging brush. Again, we're doing the same as we've done with the lighter, with the cream contour, sorry. We're going to go ahead and go from the lightest shade to the darkest shade. So we'll take the lightest shade on our palette, white dust off excess, apply this to the cheek. See, and it's just going to deepen pretty much what's already there. We wanna celebrate, there. And we'll do the same here. So once they two are looking pretty dark and deep, like I said, we're going to do the same with the lighter. Still, we're in this light shade, and we're going to go and do this around the forehead and just darken up everything else. We've got a gorgeous contour on our forehead, and we're going to just do the same just down here, just to reinforce this jaw contour. Okay, so now you have gone ahead and reinforced all your contours and all your highlights. You can see you've got your kind of beige rainbow down. We are going to take our contour palette again though, this one, and we're just going to go ahead and just take some of the light shades again and just go ahead here and just reinforce this cheek.
You wanna know that, got in my mind. Ain't wanna go back, gonna be mine.
Now you can see your contour's coming together pretty well, but we still want to blend it because there's still some harsh lines. So take the same brush we used earlier, the fluffy brush, and you want to just go in circle motions, and this will just sort of give that blending effect with the powders. I still have to kind of go down at my nose contour again just to enhance it. I know I done it with the brush, but I'm actually going to go ahead and do it with a sponge as well, because I really want a more precise line. And our foundation contouring is done and set and looking pretty good, I must say. Now makeup itself never looks any more as good as it should when you've got no wig on, so it definitely will come in a minute. But before we go ahead and do anything else now, the next step I do once my contour's been done and once my face has been powdered is I like to set it with setting spray before I go in and do anything else, just to make sure that I'm not going to touch it and affect it in any way. So I'm using the NYX, obviously, matte finish, you see that? Yeah, so I'm using the NYX matte finish setting spray, 10 centimeter maybe, I don't know, from here, okay. Once you've sprayed the setting spray, get your beauty blender and you want to just go back in gently and tap that in to your skin. This also helps with giving that sort of blurry finish. Okay, so now that you've got that set with your setting spray and you've pushed it in, you'll see it gives a lovely finish to your makeup. Let's go ahead and start on our eyebrows. I do my eyebrows with the same palette that I do my contour with, Anastasia Beverly Hills. I just use the darkest shade and I go in and just pretty much cover what's already there.
You wanna know that, got in my mind. Ain't wanna go back, gonna be mine.
There, so you can see the shapes pretty much down. Okay, now this one's done. I'm going to go and do the other one off camera for reasons we've explained earlier. Okay, so now you've got your eyes as symmetrical as you can make them. You want to go ahead and carve out the brow bone again. Now we're going to use the same brush as we did earlier in the same way from Krylon, and we're just going to take it, go in and pretty much just carve out what's already there. Our whites be popping. Okay, and now what we've done on this side, repeat on the other side. Okay, so now that you've done the same on the other side, you should have something that looks like this, and as you can see, like the brow bone underneath the eyebrows is proper, you know, which is exactly what you want, because you want to see that like really light brow bone, especially when you're doing drag makeup. However, we didn't set that earlier, so now that's exactly what we want to do. So you'll see that that has made a massive difference. Your brows now obviously complete your face. We've got the underbrow or the brow bone highlighted. However, we're going to set that under eyebrows, so like the brow bone, we're going to set that with our NYX like we used earlier, so that little single eyeshadow. Best white ever, telling you. I mean, white's white, right, but this one just lasts forever, swallow it. And we're going to just set the brow bone with that. You can see there what that's done, so it's blended it in and it's made it even more bright. So, brows complete. Yeah? After brows, what we want to go ahead and do is the eyeshadow again. Now, we've obviously already done it, we've laid down our colours. But now I'm going to start with the brown, so we're going back in the Tasty from the Jawbreaker palette by Jeffree Star. We're going to just close our eye and we're going to build on where that brown was. We're just going to pack it on. Again, we're going to repeat on the other side. Okay, so now you've repeated that on this eye. You're going to want to go ahead and do the same thing, but this time with the green shadow that you originally used.
Got in my mind. Ain't wanna go back, gonna be mine. I want it so bad.
Okay, so now you've repeated that on the other side, you should be left with something that looks kind of like this. So as you can see, the cut crease has kind of not disappeared, but it's faded a little because of the other makeup and there's other powders flying around and stuff. So we're going to go and cut the crease again, just to really sharpen it up and make it like perfect. And we're fine just going under the same brush as we did before. Sorry, I always get really itchy upper lip after I put makeup on. So yeah, we're going to go under the same brush as before, and also just with our white that we've been using throughout this full process. And we're going to cut this out again. So yeah, I'm going to go ahead and repeat this on the other side. Okay guys, so once you've repeated that on the other side, you should be left with a cut crease which is pretty open and pretty bright, sort of matching in more with your brow bone, and you can see that sort of fake crease that's been created just using the green and the brown. Yep. So next we're going to get our little NYX shadow again. Rub it around there. We're hitting pan here people, but we will order another. That's if they sell it. I'm very unlucky. Usually find something I like and then they stop selling it. I'm going to just blend out the corner, just ever so slightly though, because ideally what you're looking for is the shadow to go on and sort of blend in with that rough corner here. There, see? Lovely and blended. It's looking nice. The white shadow is incredible. There. So now we've got a solid cut crease that's really bright. Yeah, it's looking good. Now for this section in between, obviously this is looking a bit muddy, so what you want to do is get yourself the empty blending brush that you had, and you just want to blend those two as together as you can. They don't have to be perfect because you are going to be putting lashes on over it, so you just need to get it in a way where it's like a nice soft transition from like the white to the brown. There you go, see? Awesome. Again, we're going to do the same with the other side. So we're going to take our white, bring it right in there. See, I don't mind doing this side when I'm on camera. If I'm just doing like a wee dab here and a wee dab there, it's something with precision, and I need to go off because the faces that are pulled are not what anyone needs to be seeing in this lovely lockdown life that we are living. No bad faces. Certainly not in my first YouTube video anyway. Maybe in like my 2 millionth makeup tutorial. For starters, let's try and have some form of dignity. See in the face I'm doing it out? Right there. Yeah, and you'll see here, I've just kind of used the powder just to bring that slightly down here. See? Alright, and then we're going to grab that blending brush again and just blend this out like that. There we go. So we've got a nice soft transition at either side. Okay, so this kind of sums it up for the actual painting of the face. We do have lashes, lips and liner still to do. We're going to do them off camera though for speed, and also I'm sure you all know how to do lipstick and lashes. It's pretty self-explanatory. So I will go and do them off camera and I'll be right back. Okay guys, so this is pretty much the finished makeup. Obviously it's not looking up to much right now because I don't have my wig or my clothes on. Off camera I did do my lips, my lashes and liner. I also added a little bit of blush to my cheeks and some highlighter as well. Those could have been done on camera, but I kind of feel like everyone knows how to do those things and it's a lot quicker and easier for me to just do it off without explaining things and stuff. So that's what I've done. Obviously I'm going to go ahead and get into my full look now, just so you can see the difference between this and with my wig and my outfit on. Yeah, and I'll be right back. Hey guys, this is me in the final look. Hair, outfit, makeup, all done, even my tatangas have been drawn on. So yeah, I think the video's been successful. I love the look. Definitely loving this wavy hair. I'm not entirely sure about the top of the wig, but it was a choice. We went with it. We stuck with it. It's fine. But yeah. I also love this little outfit that I'm wearing. This little houndtooth with my big old boobies. Sorry, I'm looking at myself in the monitor because I look better than the mirror in front of me. In real life, it's to be desired. No, I'm kidding on. It looks okay in real life. It does. It's looking good. It's looking good. But yeah, so that's it for my first YouTube tutorial slash get ready with me slash making Maddison moment, which I think was quite successful. Probably missed out half the stuff and I'll come and edit it and it'll be a complete mess, but I will still post it because I've not done all this for nothing. yeah, I'm really liking it. I think it's worked out really well. I should have put nails on though. I realise I should have put nails on. What's that? What is that? I hope you have enjoyed it. I hope you have learned something from it, and if not, I hope it's at least been entertaining and that you guys like the look. If you do like it, let me know in the comments below. Also, please like, subscribe, and follow. I will be also live streaming on Twitch, me playing games, just stupid stuff, because that's what I'm doing to pass the time during lockdown. Makeup and games. So please check back next week for the second video in my Making Maddison series, which is where I will be doing up myself as my drag character, Maddison Kerrwood, and you can come along for the journey. And thanks for watching. See you next week.